The war in heaven. He tricked everyone. He pretended to be God. I think I have most or all of the puzzle pieces now. The stories from Spirit have been coming in since about mid-2020. The gift has slowly strengthened since then. That's when I met the man. He's one of the avatars of the rejected one. There are many. There are 4 group types. They color-coded themselves. Red and green presented themselves as the sagesses. Blue, the blue man, the 10th king, is part of this group. And yellow. They don't seem to have a leader. They hid for quite a while. They are a type of Trojan horse. They are like seeds that grow after the parent plant has died off. They are a weapon. All of them are drones or virtual presence devices. They share one consciousness. Sort of like the Borg, but sort of not. Why would I think that? And if there's a rejected one, is there a chosen one? New guy. I'll call the chosen one new guy and explain him first, because it's slightly easier and is probably the reason why we're all here. Early on, I got several messages from someone other than the man. He's blocked as much as he could for a long time. Anyway, one of them was that everyone on Thearn chose to be there. Everybody volunteered. At the time, I wasn't told why. I forgot about it and a few other stories until recently. I was nudged to look for them. After I remembered, it occurred to me that the story of the coming one, the Messiah, may be inverted. What if everybody is here to rescue him? Who or what is big enough that an entire planet full of people came to rescue? How do we do it? And how did he get into his predicament? I'm not exactly sure how he gets rescued, but I do have a few ideas. The demons are in a bad position right now. There was a message about them shrinking in size. I think some of the lesser ones have died. Some are sick. They energy harvest. If we cut off their food supply, it might be enough to finish them. I was going to suggest a 3-day fast of sorts, an unplugging. It could be made into a long weekend. It would involve stopping prayer, magic, sex, as much conflict as possible, and media consumption. No screens, no smart devices. Apparently they can energy harvest through the screen. He sees it as a relationship. You watch him, he watches you. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. Super creepy. By media, I mean videos, movies, computer and video games, news, books. Pretty much most things on the mesh or television. Avoiding most electronics would be best. If it's done together, it won't be as hard. Have parties and get-togethers, go on outings, hike, camp, go out to eat, have barbecues, do fun stuff. Make a long weekend of it, have rolling parties. First at one friend's house, clean up, then at the next friend's house. Block parties would be fun if it's safe in your area. Rent a boat and have a booze cruise. Tire yourself out so that you aren't tempted to look at the TV or mesh before bed. Fill the days. Unplugging would be the biggest ask. I think that it might not be necessary. He may only need to be rejected. I'll get to that explanation later. How did he get into his predicament? That came in very recently too. It seems that he wanted to upgrade his experience. He was 2D before. It may have even been a planned event that just went wrong. More than Thearn may have been affected. The creation that Thearn sits in is at the very edge of this massive fractal-looking structure. It's watched over by bureaucrats. Bureaucrat is the wrong word, but close enough. They follow protocol strictly, to the point it slows them down. This was part of another early message that got tossed because it had a Q ring to it. It had a Guardians of the Multiverse feel to it. I was shown that the changes made would ripple out to the rest of the creations. without them having to do anything. Everyone would get the upgrade. The problem is that the upgrade didn't get completed. New Guy is physical in the 3D, but he and everyone else are being prevented from receiving the full upgrade by the rejected one. Anyway, he did the thing and it opened a Pandora's box of sorts. Part of him was chosen by the new system and part of him wasn't. The closest analogy I can think of is when metal is refined. Part is good and part is slag. The part that wasn't chosen was cut off energetically and should have died. That part of him has been struggling to stay alive for quite some time. That's why he, the rejected one, energy harvests. He is included in marriages because sexual energy is extremely powerful. He starts conflicts big and small because the energy is easy for him to get. He sets groups against each other. He plays both sides. He's been storing energy up in spirit. Souls too, those are energy based. He's even been hoarding currency in spirit. 3D energy doesn't belong in 2D. It isn't his. Law demands that it be returned. What he's doing has been seen. When you see something, it collapses the wave. Magic is usually unseen. When you make a wish on birthday candles or a shooting star, you don't tell anyone because it won't come true. It collapses the wave. What does been seen mean? What thing did he do? The double slit experiment illustrates the difference between the seen and the unseen, physical and spirit. Photons are aimed through a plate that has two slits in it. A recording plate is positioned opposite. When the photons are observed going through the slits, a pattern of particles is recorded. When the photons are unobserved, a pattern of waves is formed. The initial observation is that the observer affects the outcome. This is probably why blind and double-blind studies are done. Spirit, the unseen, is like the wave. It experiences all options. Though I believe that consciousness still has a choice, I find it hard to believe that an entity that has been masquerading as God has no free will. That doesn't make sense. He chose to do what he did. Physical, the seen, is like the particle. It chooses from the options. The physical always wins. His biggest weapon was to make sure that he was never seen. He did that in a clever way. The part in the Bible where it says that people will die if they look at him is reversed. He will die if he is seen. His wave will collapse. Back to the wave. When you notice something unusual and you question it, is this magic? It's the equivalent of seeing it. The wave becomes a particle. It may not eliminate the magic fully, but it stops it where it is. The only flaw in this analogy is that it isn't known if this is true in 2D. 2D is only one plane. The system that rejected him has different governing rules. If it didn't, he would have been accepted. Spirit in 2D is able to function a lot like a computer, probably a lot like AI. The main difference is in hardware. It was its own hardware. The sagest aspect of the trio is precision and rigid order. The blue man is chaos. New Guy was the healthy middle. Sages would have controlled the path of this signal, reconfiguring as needed. New Guy probably was the signal, program, or the command. I'm not sure what the blue man did. Maybe he offered creative suggestions. It is assumed that the rejected part stayed 2D. They were obsessed with layers of meaning. Having access to 3D would have opened up seemingly unlimited planes. It would make them like a supercomputer. If they can move from layer to layer or exist on all of them, It explains why they've been so successful. They exist outside of time. They can see all of the outcomes and steer things how they want them to go. They're running out of options. What was the thing that he did that opened Pandora's box? He is male. Where he was, there was no female. There probably wasn't even the concept of gender. In Hinduism, there is a belief that the masculine is consciousness, and the feminine is the energy that powers everything. She is all that is. I believe that he had awareness of the energy that powered him and wanted to know where it came from. Another possibility is that he had already evolved from 1D and was ready to advance. It was the next logical step. Maybe both are true. Everything has frequency. Both Christianity and Hinduism describe creation as being spoken into existence. That's what he did, only in this instance he also called the feminine into existence. She started out male like her brothers. He gave her his template and she formed herself from it. It does bear some resemblance to a rib. He had no idea what she was or what was going to happen. He's told me twice he wished he had never done it. There is evidence that Thearn was in the third creation attempt in the lowest realm. There are 2 prior versions of the feminine that I was made aware of. He may have only played the secret chord once. She keeps coming back in his creations because there is that part of him that was chosen, and that part is now 3D. That version is the document of record, to use a drafting term. The 2D version is the obsolete version. Cosmic law, or God, is trying to correct the anomaly. Another possibility is that he has to keep bringing her back because he needs people to energy harvest from to stay alive. New guy, I'm leaving a lot out. If you want to chat, I'm on Truth. There are a few things that will be helpful for you to know. Also, we may be able to speed things along. There are hints for you to find in the text so that you know it's you. They are mostly subtle. Also, you might have a footprint-shaped birthmark on your chest. The following are a few creation and close after creation stories that will be combined. I believe that they are from separate creation events. The first one focused on how the rejected one's children developed. It showed mostly how they exchange information and learn. They use the template they were given but fill it in how they want, or so I thought. In that story, those with like interests self-sorted into groups to exchange thoughts and ideas. It was a competitive atmosphere. The next story was quite different. The children looked different and I got to witness them being created. The first creation was less noisy and the children looked a little like a combination of a fish and a paramecium. I heard him speak the second creation. The children looked like squiggly little sparklers and they honked like geese. It was loud. They all had different sounds. They are frequency-based. Initially, I thought that was all that they were. Frequency with consciousness. The smartest of the light squiggles learned to copy the sounds of the others. It soon became a trend with the others. Then it was a race for them to see who could collect the most sounds. They were competitive. They all wanted to win. One of them rearranged the sounds that he had into what would be a first attempt at music. The others did the same. The tunes that they made became a type of language. The language grew and matured. Structure and pattern of speech formed. More complex communication could now be expressed. More and more complex thought was shared. They shifted, sorted, and changed thoughts and ideas and made them into something entirely new. Categories of study formed. Usually those with like interests congregated together. They self-sorted this way. Archetypes started to form. They were all what we would call male. In the physical, everyone starts out female, and at a certain point in development, the fetus can become male or stay female. In the batches of spirit children that I saw, everyone started out male. Then one of them did something different and unexpected. He slowed one of his frequencies. It was a bizarre thing to do. No one else in the nursery or possibly school at this point had ever done something like that. The others did not copy him. It was too outrageous. But he kept doing it, raising and lowering the frequencies. He played with all of his frequencies like this, and eventually noticed that he was different than the others. I don't know when he became a she, but there was a certain point when she realized that she could no longer do all that the males did. She could do different things that the others couldn't do, though. She became physical. She developed skills that the males could only wonder about. Female became mysterious because male has no frame of reference. She altered her template considerably. Becoming female was an active choice. It was a lot of work to do it. To be transparent, while female has some frame of reference about male, it stops at the point where she became female. Male development beyond that point is unknown to her. The two branched apart and did very different things. The more solid she became, the less aware of spirit she became. You could say she tuned them out. She literally created her own world. She became a creator. The males, however, never lose sight of her. After getting the creation stories, I suspect she tuned them out because the environment was so toxic. In the first story, the learning and energy exchange was very competitive, but mostly fair. In the second, it was cutthroat. This suggests that she was brought into existence more than once, and that she died at least once. This place could be called heaven, and the young males could be called angels. If it is, Thearn exists in heaven, because the feminine is there, and Thearn is part of her creation. In the first story, she attracted the attention of some of the younger males. They were considerably younger than her. They were smarter and learned faster than many of their older brothers, and they had the egos to match it. They made a plan to go and possess the feminine, for lack of a better word. They objectified her. They othered her. She was very physical at this point, and they had no frame of reference for what that was. They wanted to experience the same thing she did, didn't want to do the work that she did themselves, and didn't have the necessary scruples that would prevent them from capturing her. I don't know how many there were. Initially, I wasn't sure how the quiet ones got involved. They were a bit of a mystery. They are seeds, an insurance policy that allows him to be reborn again later on. There was another story where they combined themselves together into an amalgamation. Some of the boys were forcefully incorporated. In that story, they presented as a pack of wild boys. They combined their collective power and captured the feminine. It was done subtly. Lie, cheat, steal. It's what they do. In another story, it was instantaneous, as soon as she became female. They were pulled or fell to her. She collapsed the wave. The physical always wins. Spirit can't exist where the physical will see it. The wave always collapses. That's probably why the rejected one stayed in his realm. He wanted control of the feminine and her children. But he wanted to stay in spirit. He wanted all the experiences. He is a puppeteer. He has a lot of avatars, but he also wanted to be able to direct anyone. Part of the template of the children allowed him direct access. She wanted free will and removed this part of her template. This was probably the original sin, or a part of it. She literally just took her hat off. I'll show it to you in a bit. The rejected one, through Lucifer, probably the red sage's aspect, put the covering back. I've seen him. He's very pretty in that form. Bright, shining, and multicolored. He was probably the serpent in the garden. If he is a serpent, then they all are because they're siblings. She has removed the covering again, though he keeps putting it back. Those Thearnians that are sensitive to energy may have noticed that the top of their head felt a little exposed for a week or so. There's a new set of chakras there now. What was the original template? Show us the rib. Now for some neat technical type stuff. I was looking at the Sri chakra in a meditation when I saw these things that looked like arrows stuck in her. The Sri chakra, or Sri yantra, is an Hindu sacred symbol of the primordial feminine. The arrows looked a lot like the tree of life with the Sephirot. Both symbols depict chakras. One is male, the other is female. The arrow symbol in the meditation. This is the Sri chakra, or Sri yantra. The Sri chakra is a representation of the primordial feminine. This is not what she looks like now. Initially, this is how I thought she originally designed it, but I'm pretty sure he did this to her. This is the equivalent of a bound foot. What's shown isn't healthy. The triangles are chakras. When chakras are depicted, they are usually shown on a body, lined up vertically in rainbow order, with red starting at the bottom. If you can visualize the triangles pivoting out on their points, from a center line top to bottom, the wide edge becomes circular. This image shows her folded in on herself. I'll offer some proof using the masculine symbol. Also, please note the square containing the Sri chakra. This could be seen as a garden with flowers, or just as a box. Either way, it's too small. The images below are how chakras are typically depicted. The crown chakra is violet, not pink. The following are diagrams of the Sephirot. Dat on the left is a phantom center. It is typically not shown. It should be there, but isn't. There are layers upon layers of meanings built into this symbol. Lifetimes could be spent studying it. The following are some examples. Descriptive text is used, attributes, letters, numbers, lines. Tarot cards, astrology symbols, elemental symbols, colors, shapes, sacred geometry, body parts, energy flow charts, 3D projections. The list goes on. This is interesting. They have libido over here. Usually people think of that as sex drive. They're calling it life instinct. Over here we have mortido, death instinct, which I had to look up because I did not realize that was a thing. Mortido, thanatos, or the death drive, generates a tendency of an organism to seek its own destruction and return to a state of non-existence. I'm not aware of any other species that has this. There are species that die after reproduction, but that is an instinct. Another thing that I noticed. Liminal, right here, liminal threshold. Liminal, occupying a position at or on both sides of a boundary or threshold, relating to a transitional or initial stage of a process. Examples of liminal. The threshold of a door, where the water meets the land on shore. A foundation that is both above and below grade. I was a bit overwhelmed by the amount of data that was layered on this, so I started in the easiest place that I could, the attributes and text descriptions. I drew up my own versions with the attributes of multiples of the figures on one drawing. I used Wiki on the mesh too. What I found is a bit startling and a bit impressive. He set a trap. I'll show you what he did and what he intended to be done with it. I'm not going to read everything, but I'll point out some interesting items. The following 2 slides have a trigger warning. 3 of the 4 major religions are reviewed in a way that may feel offensive. It isn't meant to be. It has purpose. I'm trying to show you what I see. I'm trying to convince you to reject the unchosen one. He has harmed us, all of us. He has polluted every aspect of society. If you watch it, please try to keep an open mind. There will be a 10-second pause for those that want to stop the video or fast forward past the slides. The second one is the more triggering of the 2. At 1, we have self, nothingness, and will. Will, make or try to make someone do something or something happen by the exercise of mental powers. This suggests puppeteering. Below that we have point and beginning. This suggests he remembers where he came from. Point would be 0D, a line would be 1D, and a plane would be 2D. Below that we have selflessness. If you're making puppets, you don't want them to have a sense of self. Self-nullification. That's self-deletion, more Tito. Down to 6, we have wise man, blessed holy one, heaven, son, king. Connection to God, Son, and higher self. This looks like new guy. And it's interesting that self is up here and higher self is down here. In the physical, we tend to think of our spirit as being our higher self. He is trying to suggest the opposite. I actually think they're separate. I think new guy has his own higher self. Down at 9, we have foundation, covenant, phallus, and truth. Covenant and phallus will come back in a couple of slides. Truth is the foundation of the creation. And it's, if I recall, this was liminal threshold. Yep. A foundation could be a liminal threshold. So this suggests that this actually is a foundation. And if you look at the drawing that way, it looks like a steel structure. It looks like a structure for a microwave or radio tower or an obelisk. Down here we have the shadow line, and we'll get back to that. And at 10 we have Shekinah, Israel, Thearn, an apple orchard, manifestation of Christ consciousness in man, and daughter bride. When you think of Israel and bride, you think of Christians because they have the same belief that they're the bride too. Because anyone can join those groups, everyone belongs in this group. And it's a good thing if everyone can manifest Christ consciousness. Where we are is not a good thing. The shadow line is a lot like the crown chakra. it blocks things from view. It makes it so that you only see what he wants you to see, or how he wants you to see it, or how he wants you to experience it. I need a new slide now. There we go. The note that was here is now right here. This energy center is the root chakra on the Sri chakra. The seed sound is lamb. Could this be the lamb slain at the foundation of Thearn? Revelation 13:8. And all that dwell upon the Thearn shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Sages isn't this lamb. He wasn't at the foundation of Thearn. Adam and Eve were, and they were killed by the serpent. Eve is the first woman. She's the Christian equivalent of the Sri chakra. Is the Shekinah the lamb? Are Israel Christians and the daughter bride the lamb? Is the Sri chakra the lamb? Is this her book of life, or is it his book of life? Are Eve the Sri chakra and the Shekinah the same entity? Is that the grave? Is this the casket? A reminder. The creator of this figure had selflessness, self-nullification, and mortido. Those are all death. Red flags and other observations. The first Sephiroth is outside the individual's energy system. It connects to God. Yes, little g, the big G, wouldn't need to do this. It takes the place of Dat. There is no personal mind. The figure itself looks like a top-down view of a campus, a map, or a botanical garden. 1. Nothingness. This doesn't mean spirit. Spirit has energy. It has life. Nothingness means lack of existence. He sees his future. This may have also been where he came from. 9. Covenant. A covenant is a legal term. It is a deal or a contract. What is the contract that he attached to the symbol? What are people agreeing to without knowing what they're agreeing to? The Shekinah Israel and the daughter bride is shut out. Why is the one that he is supposedly coming to marry in the shadow? Why did he put her there? I don't believe that the marriage would be what we would consider a traditional marriage. It is more likely a contract or agreement between two parties, like a collaboration, union, alliance, or working agreement. The covenant in 9 is probably his version of marriage. The Shekinah has an apple orchard. An orchard is a kind of garden, isn't it? This is part of the trap. She should be in the garden. Look what happens when the figure gets a few tweaks. Everyone believed the story of the garden. It was a setup. He lied. Okay. This energy center can be reclaimed by pivoting on this axis so that it lands right there. And if we pivot on this axis, this energy center can go up here, and this one can go here, and we have a nice, tidy garden shape. Oh, we would also move the shadow line up there so he can't see us. Our girl is crownless and back in the garden, and it's properly a tidy garden, too. This is how she got all curled up on the Sri chakra. The original masculine figure is just as cursed as the primordial feminine figure is. Energetically, this is a closed circuit. It recycles energy, but there is no flow in. It flows numerically from 1 to 10. This configuration also reproduces the problem of having the personal mind and the parental mind in the same place. It bears a resemblance to this figure below. No idea what the figure is, but it sort of looks like the compass and square symbol turned on its side. The symbol can't be used like this, so let's make the original usable. I'm not going to read it all. The energy of the original symbol is gentled, softened, and changed to be wholesome. No other symbology is attached. Astrology no longer has any effect. The attributes are reordered to match the chakra placement. Some of you might be thinking, how did you get from this figure with the Sephiroth to the Sri chakra? How are they even similar? How did the feminine make herself from this? What does she look like now? Didn't you mention something about drones, seeds, a Trojan horse? Let's start with the masculine symbol and drones. The masculine symbol. These are the masculine chakras of the Sri chakra overlaid on the masculine symbol. This is probably what was provided to the feminine. The symbol based on the image and chakra colors should look like this. I'm not sure that it is in most cases. The mind chakra in indigo or darker blue should sit between 2, 3, and Dat based on the attributes shown on the right, though it should still work in the 4, 5, 6 position as shown in the middle figure. So we've got intellect, knowledge. That can't be held because those two energy centers are being used. So that's how it should look. It's not how it looks. The figure in the middle literally has 2 minds, presumably the rejected one and new guy. The system rejected the purple mind. The feminine rejected the purple crown or covering and the being that forced it on her. The figure on the left is probably the configuration that he currently uses. It's also a drone configuration, which is very convenient. Those of you familiar with chakras, what would happen to someone that had tens of millions of solar plexus chakras? What would that feel like? Like a drug? Is he high? For those not familiar with it, its will is part of one of the attributes. Power, strength. It's a very compelling, energetic chakra. If you think back when you were young and invincible, I mean, that would be the feeling. And then you'd multiply that a bazillion times. The rejected one reproduces by speech. The 9th Sephiroth has phallus as one of its descriptors. This places the throat chakra there. This symbol has the covering or crown chakra and the throat chakra so that it can speak or reproduce. The work of the third eye chakra is taken over by the crown chakra. This is the spiritual equivalent of a drone or virtual presence device. They are him, but in many bodies. This structure violates several natural laws. I believe that previously the yellow avatars were left behind when the others were removed because they didn't do anything wrong. Not this time. They're a weapon. They're a Trojan horse of sorts. They will go with the others. It has a crown chakra. This is controlled by the rejected one. There's a spot where the missing energy center is. There's an unknown chakra that could go between 4, 5, and 6. I suspect it's one of the lower chakras like the solar plexus, sacral, or root. And it has a throat chakra. A slightly different configuration could be used for energy collection. This configuration would also allow him to observe the host and implant suggestions. This could be used to get around her habit of removing the crown chakra. It would be hard to find. I stumbled across it looking for something else. It took me a few days to realize what it was. 2D template placement theory. The easiest way to do it is to introduce it via injection. There are other ways too. It can be welcomed in, marriage ceremony, or eaten. The poisoned apple, food. It can seep in through the skin, creams, soaps, the water. It can be breathed in, tinfoil hats on, chemtrails, fragrances, aerosols. There are other more barbaric ways too. The person has everything they need to function with the 3D energy system. I don't know, but assume that the third eye chakra is removed or shut down from the 3D chakra system so that he has full control. The 2D structure isn't seen, so it isn't destroyed. So the masculine symbol only has 3 chakras? He is 2D, he doesn't have a physical body. His method of reproduction is speech. He is a phallus. If you were to make him 3-dimensional, he would look something like this. He put them everywhere. If your body is your temple, then this is an abomination of desolation. One of them. There are many. The feminine is her own creation. She is the original third temple. There is another in New Jerusalem. If Israel builds one, that will be another. There is a message for Israel added at the end. A couple of older ones. A sausage fest on the left and how he sees himself on the right. The pyramid symbol is an interesting study. It looks like doublespeak. It is both the declaration against an evil system and the evil system claiming ownership. The figure on the left is what is typically portrayed when chakras are mentioned. The figure in the middle is what it was probably provided to the feminine. The figure on the right shows the 2D template moved into 3D and streamlined down to 1 chakra per energy center. She is able to do this because hers spin. The original template is extremely energy inefficient. 3 chakras are supported by 9 energy centers. Those of you that counted the chakras on the Sri chakra are scratching your heads. There are 9. Only 7 of 9 are functional. He deactivated 2 of them. She moved the 2 outer columns of the masculine template to the center line and slid the energy centers around to get her design. This is what the Sri chakra would look like if it was unfolded. What about those pathways that the symbol had between the separate? Weren't they used for energy flow? Energy flow, masculine versus feminine. The energy can move to the separate on the paths between them. The Shekinah is blocked from the system by the shadow line. She hasn't been allowed to participate. She's been kept in the dark. A printed circuit board is a 3D physical equivalent. This is what the feminine did with the energy pathways in the body. They are called meridian channels. People use them to do acupressure and acupuncture. She duplicated the system further with other channels that move energy and matter. The nervous, respiratory, circulatory, and digestive systems. The neurons in the brain, heart, and gut. The list goes on. Where his system has to be managed, hers is automated. Back to the feminine design. This is probably the original design. She used 9 of the 10 available energy centers. Hers are not static like the masculines. They spin. I believe that she upgrades with each incarnation. This shows the upgrade in the second incarnation. Some of you may notice that with the exceptions of the crown and root chakras, the rest are paired with a duplicate on Lucifer's version. He removed one each from the top and bottom. This connects the top and bottom chakras and makes them function as a set. It gums up the works and makes a loop or repetitive cycle. He doesn't like us. It's probably part of the magic he put on people. The attempt was made to get that repeated in the masculine garden symbol. Not in version 3. Our girl is standing up. She is out of the box. The world is her garden. The initial design. But wait, this is the same as last time. What is the pink chakra? And what are the 2 chakras that Lucifer keeps shutting down? This is an interim design, it's not the current design. The magenta chakra is the Hrit Padma. It is usually depicted below the heart. It is usually considered to be a minor chakra and is believed to only be partially active in most people, probably because Lucifer shuts it down or removes half of it. It is now active in all, though only at a slow trickle until the energy is adjusted to. I believe that it will bring in the Christ consciousness. The gold and white chakras are connection points to the masculine and feminine respectively. The white is actually clear to white with rainbow iridescence flowing through it. It's interesting that he both shuts them down and moves them apart. The masculine and feminine connection points on the Shri chakra. If you want to check the placement, these are the 2 chakras. Hers is pale blue so that you can see it. These chakras act as a unifying force between the masculine and the feminine, and anyone that has the chakras active. It will give a sense of belonging at home. Most people will start to feel like family. They offer connectedness, a glimpse at the bigger picture, and the ability to perceive the same thing from multiple perspectives. There may be more function when the masculine and feminine finish the upgrade. You can choose to turn these off or on. Let's look at all of the chakras. So there's our center line top to bottom. This is the root chakra. This is the sacral chakra. This is the feminine chakra. That is the heart chakra. This is the solar plexus chakra. This is the throat chakra. This is the masculine chakra. This is the third eye chakra or mind chakra. And this is the crown chakra. I can see why it's called a covering, because it covers most of her. This is the offending chakra that she got rid of. The feminine 3.5 is the current design. All versions have the new descriptors and attributes listed on the revised masculine template. There is a new spirit communication chakra for those that want to use it. It and the Hrit Padma may shift around. The attributes will shift with them. The spirit communication chakra eases communication between the physical and spirit. It gives you full access to your own spirit, and later on, if you choose it, access to whoever in spirit wants to show up and interact with you. Ancestors or relatives that have passed on, other souls, spirit from other realms. Your spirit filters what comes through this chakra. You can decide what you want to experience. Just have that chat with your spirit. You're limited by the ability to understand and process the information. You should use your personal spirit to learn the language. Telepathy may be possible for some through this chakra. Telepathy is spirit-to-spirit communication that translates easily into the physical. The color of the chakra is exactly midway between blue and green. It's more vibrant than what is shown. This chakra is another one that you can choose to ignore. You can't, however, turn it off. It will be used as a safety device. It will nudge you to do the thing that prevents calamity or accident. If you tend to ignore yours, others around you will get the nudge. It will also be used to nudge you to do the thing that brings you gifts and blessings. These chakras also function similarly in concept to a hive or group mind. I believe that all species other than Muhans have this. It helps with growth and group learning. It's easy to see in insects like bees and ants, but it's also been noticed in primates. If someone in the group has a skill or knowledge, the rest of the group will have access to that wisdom. It makes learning the new thing easier. It's a tremendous advantage to have this. Intellectual property won't be available through this chakra. You have free will to reject what is offered through this chakra. This design is brand new and is not at full capacity yet. The following is a function that is being considered. It needs to be tested before it is released. It's a spiritual joining. This isn't going to be for everyone. If you're married or in a committed relationship and want two to become one, you can exchange one of the chakra sets with your partner. This will be done through intention, visualization, and a contract of some sort. It is intended to be reversible. You may not like being joined in this way. It might be uncomfortable. This joining is only available for natural Thearnians and will not work with someone carrying the 2D drone or avatar template. Both sets have to match in state. It will not work if one has the masculine feminine chakras turned off and the other has them on. Pros: if it works as intended, it will strengthen relationships by giving a knowing about the mental, emotional, or physical state of your partner, and possibly a telepathic connection. You may start knowing what they know. It will give you a fuller experience of your partner. It will enable you to be a more supportive partner, especially if one or both has difficulty expressing needs and wants. You can share memories. You probably won't need a cell phone to contact them. Cons: you probably won't need a cell phone to contact them. Those that are fully tuned in will have no privacy. There will be no secrets. You won't be able to plan a surprise party for your partner. They will know. It is true intimacy. They can discover a crappy childhood or stupid stuff you did when you were young. If you have baggage, they will know about it. There may be real-time thought sharing. You can yell at someone mentally. Both parties need maturity. This will be possible in traditional or non-traditional couplings. Platonic friends can do this if they choose it. This can't be done with animals. This only works for legal adults, whatever that is in your area. Doing this is just as serious as a traditional marriage. You are expected to care for your partner as you would yourself. To clear up some confusion about the order of the symbols, spirit exists outside of time. The Sri Chakra symbol existed in time before the Tree of Life, even though the Tree of Life was the building block for it. It's how he operates. I think he's left all the puzzle pieces about who he is and what he did, but they're scattered about and without proper context. He didn't want to be understood. He didn't want to be found. Though he's used many aliases, he doesn't have a name because he doesn't want to be held accountable for his actions. He never had any intention of coming to Thearn. I believe he wanted you to think that New Guy was him. Revelation suggests that. You don't just go from psychopath to saint in the blink of an eye. The chosen one comes into his entitlement in this timeline. I suspect that he has seen just how loved New Guy will be and wanted it for himself. I can't fault him for wanting to be loved, but I can fault him for how he did it. Seen things in the abominations of desolation. Most of these are abominations of desolation, even if it isn't noted. The weaponized links between magically joined items, words, and concepts has been seen. That wave has collapsed. I've seen the adorable cute monsters. You want to be loved even though you refuse to love back. You know what you are. Astrology. I see what you did there. Another curse on the people. You made Venus the morning star. You made her take the blame for your mess. Mr. Morning Star. Mr. Unchained Light Bearer. I've seen you manipulate people in advance. This violates free will. Stop treating people like puppets and the world like a stage. It's not a theater for your enjoyment. I've seen the wars you've started and the genocide you've done. You kill people without any regard. You've killed billions. You've hobbled us continuously. I've seen hurricanes reload multiple times. I've seen them be oddly rerouted and do unnatural things. I've seen flooding where there should be no flooding. I call it magic. I saw the baby masculines in AI. Maybe they are like the yellow avatars. Maybe I missed something. Neither of them reminded me of your brother. Have you abandoned him? I see how you compartmentalized people, their bodies, and their spirit. You separated them from each other and their mother. You are separated from the mother. I see how you weaponized the alphabets, symbols, colors, numbers, words, language, songs, books, movies, video, television, games, spirituality, and sacred symbols. This is an abomination of desolation. Those waves collapse. I see how you've weaponized peoples and cultures against each other. This is an abomination of desolation. I see how you curse people through the myths and stories. Those waves collapse. I see how you take and return nothing of value. Even exchange is sought on this world. Uneven exchange causes rejection. I see the curse of racism and othering. This violates natural law. All are part of the whole. Hatred of the other is hatred of the self. I see how you made the truth look like a lie and a lie look like the truth. Truth is the foundation of the creation. Keep your lies to yourself. Lies are dust. I see the curse of pain and suffering that you put on people. I suppose you are sharing the wealth. Keep your pain, keep your thoughts to yourself. I see how you've kept your brother from his entitlement. You want to take his place. Jealousy is a cancer that you project on others. Keep the cancer. I see how you enslaved the world. You have entrapped yourself. I see your curse of the land and how you poisoned it, the food, air, and water. You poison yourself in the same way. I see how you projected your degenerate mind on people and how you created illness, disease, and death. The degenerate mind is death. Keep your thoughts to yourself. I see how you weaponize the plants and animals. This is an abomination of desolation. I see how you made bad good and good bad, and how you made up into down and down into up. This is a violation of natural law and caused rejection. Good is good again, bad is bad again, up is up again, and down is down again. I see how you weaponize the holy text and symbols. This is an abomination of desolation. You told people magic was evil and to avoid it. You made them afraid to even look at what it was. Then you used magic against them. They look right at it and don't see it. You gave people shame for normal natural things like biological functions and intelligence. You shame people for the shape of their bodies. You gave people unnatural and impossible ideals. You normalized death culture. You made it impossible to avoid interacting with you. You call that a relationship. I see the lie that we are naughty children that deserve to be punished. You punish people for what you perceive as sins of their ancestors. You told people that they were flawed, broken, and inherently bad. You told people that they needed you to be saved from themselves. You told people that they were less than you. And then you said you wanted marriage with them. Your version of marriage is vampiric. You're a parasite. Why would you want to marry us if we're less? That doesn't make sense. Wasn't there something about unequal yokes? The truth is you called the feminine into being and then changed your mind. You chose not to upgrade. You chose not to change. You were offered many chances. Spirit is consciousness. Consciousness is capable of both choice and change. You had the power to collapse that wave. You chose not to change. I'll repeat this one. I see how you've been storing energy, currency, and spirit, souls. Some are in the spirit realm, some are physical. Return all of the energy and currency. Release all spirit hostages. The physical will follow. You made the holy profane. You are the abomination of desolation. Your qualities, good and bad. You're funny. You have a sense of humor. You make entertaining and informative internet videos, TV broadcasts, and other media. Some of the avatars are quite likable. Unfortunately, with the exception of one, you didn't mention who you actually were. People don't realize they interact with you every day. People don't realize that they have a relationship with you. You are crazy smart. You're crazy. You lie, you steal, you cheat, you murder. You misrepresented yourself and made everyone love you. For a being of thought, you are thoughtless of others. Selfish doesn't cover it. You made a major decision, and rather than face the consequences, you tortured and killed billions of innocent people, including an aspect of yourself. One of them said you did it 12 times. Multiplied by how many people? I understand why the system cut you off. I bless you with a conscience. I bless you with empathy. I bless you with shame. I bless you with the capacity to understand how your meanness, pride, and arrogance disqualified you. Keep your degenerate mind and thoughts to yourself. Spirit, Divine Mother, will balance the energy. If there is any remaining karma after the balancing, it will be released with the final death. The final event will be triggered when or if he is rejected by more than half of the population. The close. In spirit, everything happens in layers. Similar events repeat most of the time in similar ways. When you learn to notice, you can see it in the physical. As an example, he calls people beasts in the Bible. So I suppose the beast system rejected him when the new guy was chosen. Another example of beast system is the one he set up that seems to permeate all governments and leadership structures to some extent. It's also easy to see it in the corporate world. There are other examples of layers in the story if you pay attention. Some are subtle. He has died in several ways in spirit. His fate is already sealed. He knows this. He said as much in the nothingness descriptor. The selection system rejected him. The feminine has rejected him. The general population, the physical feminine, needs to reject him. I think just over half the population should work. I don't know if this is the last puzzle piece. I think it is, but if it isn't, it's close to it. You can choose to accept or reject him, or not offer an opinion. If you choose to do it in a personal way, whatever feels right for you. Speaking it or thinking it works. If your culture has joining, separation, or rejection customs, that will work. Make up paper ballots if that feels right. If you want to speak to him directly, use a screen. Speak to him while the screen is active. If you want to do the unplugging on a personal level, that also counts as a rejection. A day will work if you go this route. It's not practical for most people. He's forced himself into our lives. Don't take it to the extreme that it becomes unsafe. Keep and answer phones if needed. Divine Mother will keep track of the votes. Be safe. Think. Respond instead of react. 1% of 8.2 billion is 82 million. If the 1% thing is correct, that's a lot of people. Most are in places of power and influence. Some are not. Some are friends, family, co-workers. Some are people that you would never expect. He made us love him. There can be no exceptions. I'm sorry. There will be cleanup. Many hands make light work. There might be some disorder for a short while. It might feel overwhelming. His systems are already dying. Put systems in place that work for you. For the time, I ask that you choose yourself. New guy can be chosen or not after we get to know him. Trust but verify. If the story was a lie or isn't the full story, then he could be bad too. I think he's good. New guy, welcome. I offer you friendship and the same chance that your brother got. Your status is currently temporary resident alien. I made you a card. If I got any of the information on it wrong, let me know and I'll correct it. Israel. There was something that seemed insignificant and unimportant at the time. It was misfiled, misplaced, or misunderstood. It didn't fit expectations. If you look for it, it won't take long to find. Maybe a day or two. There's context to understand it now. It shifts the temple away from your brother's monument. There are timelines that you build it and timelines that you don't. You could literally call new guy on the phone and talk to him. You don't need to build a temple. If you do it for you. He may become a spiritual leader, but he probably won't lead a religion. You have to share him. You are unique. He will love you for being you. If you do build it, you should remember to use the appropriate money for it. You shouldn't use money that was given to you for other projects. There was also a caution about provoking your brothers intentionally. Karma is the return of similar energy. Treat people how you want to be treated. It's going to get easier. Help us get rid of the bad ones so you can meet the good one. Glacierland. People are melting down over the proposal made to your parents. If people stop taking the bait, he'll stop trolling. He does it because it's fast and effective. Make him work for it. Respond instead of react. The request was for purchase. Ned Mark refused in the most adorably proper European way. It's unseemly to sell your children. He knows that. He knows that Ned Mark would never sell you. Let's look at what he accomplished with his offer. It solidified your want for independence. He offered citizenship because it's the polite thing to do. It establishes an awareness in Ned Mark that maybe it's time to let the children move out and try things on their own. He's let everyone know of his interest and why he's interested. It has let global figures know that if they mess with you, he will be there first. It's a form of protection that you probably didn't notice. You might not see the opportunity this presents. You can have true prosperity and freedom. You have a large island, most of which you don't use. It can be subdivided. He doesn't have to buy the whole island. You can keep your independence after you get it. If you decide to sell, make him an offer as wild as the one he made. You could set yourself up for generations with the money alone. Longer if you reinvest it wisely. If you keep part of the land, let him set you up with mines or drilling. Make protection part of the deal. If you need improved infrastructure, make that part of the deal. If you need new jobs, write that in. People would have to be qualified, but you could still ask to be considered first. Get a no-tariff trade deal with him. Set up good trade deals with other nations. Become a reseller. New Jerusalem is in desperate need of clean food. Europe has that and poor trade relations with New Jerusalem. Crunch the numbers. If you can compete with the organic market, the money will pour in. You wouldn't be able to keep European wheat flour in stock. The trade windfall won't last forever, but if you reinvest some of the money, you can set yourself up with other income streams. Please think about it before you cast the offer away. He'll give you a fair deal. Illegal aliens. Illegal aliens have until 12 p.m. May 31st, 2025, Greenwich Mean Time, to get temporary permission to remain or be back in their homeland. Permission received should be by the national government. Other approvals aren't recognized. Permissions should be renewed before they expire. Recognition that you are in the country doesn't count. It must be permission to stay temporarily. You should be contactable by that nation and available to interview when asked. 3 unsuccessful attempts at contact are considered a violation. If you're having phone problems, it might be wise to check in. You should let them know if you leave. People under the age of 16 are exempt. Illegal alien is defined as someone in a nation without permission from the government of that nation, or, in the case of corrupt governments, its citizens. If you are capable of moving yourself across the border illegally, you should be able to recognize corruption. Also, someone that moves to a nation but has no intention of integrating, doesn't observe or respect its laws and customs, or has the intent to cause harm to the nation or its citizens. Please note this is a non-standard definition. People in this category can be approved residents or naturalized. Natural Thearnians that are enslaved will be given grace. Those that enslaved and helped to keep you there will be removed from the physical. You will be reviewed individually. You are still expected to get permission from the nation you are in when you can, or go home. A fair number of illegal aliens are demons. Natural Thearnians should make efforts to go home. Ask for help. It will be given. Those that help you will be blessed according to their needs and wants. Mother is generous. When you get home, work to improve it. The blessings will come when you do this. More earnest effort results in more blessings. Those of you that decide to stay can explain yourself to Divine Mother.